what was on my mind this morning was addiction. Um, when we say addiction, usually people's minds go to drugs and substances. Not necessarily the fact that people can be addicted to anything. Speaking from experience, like I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and what were we talking about? I think we were talking about substance abuse, and then somehow we started talking about this. Is a friend of mine who at some point he was like he used to smoke weed a lot, like he smoked weed every day, and he was telling me that man he had to stop because he was so addicted to it. Like he couldn't go, not that he couldn't go a day without it, but he couldn't like do anything without it. Like he was so addicted to it, like he would virtually do it all the time and repeatedly, and that's why he stopped. And I was like, in my opinion, like as far as I'm concerned, weed is good. Like it's not for everyone, but it's good for a lot of people. A lot of people have benefits from it, and of course, it has medical benefits. Recent studies have been showing that it's been used to treat people with PTSD and people with Parkinson's disease. You know, all these things are Googleable, of course, and it's legal in so many states in the U.S. I don't think it's federally legal yet, but it's legal in most of the states now, right? So. And again, the whole idea of weed being illegal is like it was a political move from the government. Like they kind of demonized some drugs because they wanted to push other drugs.
Okay.
They wanted to push drugs like tobacco, and it was like a competitive business move between the hemp industry and the tobacco industry. So it has roots from like it wasn't even a genuine thing. Like it's not like people did studies, like scientists conducted studies and found out that this is harmful to people, therefore it needs to be stopped. If anything should be legal is alcohol, because it's like a lot of things that we take should be illegal, even some foods that we eat and put them in our mouth, some sweets, some, that contain dyes and contain a lot of artificial colorings and artificial flavors, things that are actually harmful to us. But, the issue with addiction is some people can take care of the substance they are addicted to, but they haven't taken care of the addiction itself. So that addictive energy moves to something else, like porn, or masturbation, or anger, or just something else, So I feel like the problem itself is addiction, and not usually the substance that you're addicted to. Like if you take care of that addictive personality, that thing that makes you, that wiring in your brain that makes you addicted to things, you tend to do everything in moderation, like without getting addicted to it. Some people are addicted to screens, for instance, right? So the addiction itself is the problem, not usually the substance. I'm not saying that doing harmful drugs is good, but it's like the problem itself is addiction. Speaking from experience. Because I've had times in my life when I was really addicted to substances. So I can speak with confidence of that. I'm not talking about just any substance, I'm talking about the hard stuff, And the weird thing about it is, that this is harmful for you, but you keep going back to it. That's weird. Even the smartest people on earth, some of the smartest people on earth have battled addiction. So what is it about this thing that it just tends to get human beings. Like it's a strange wiring in our heads. Like it's a strange wiring in our heads that makes us prone to addiction. I don't know if animals get addicted to things. I think there was a study done with rats and cocaine, and the rats were put in a controlled environment, and some water was mixed with cocaine, and according to the scientists, it was found that the rats would go back to the cocaine water and leave every other thing, like leave the toys and the exercise wheel that they had in their enclosure, and keep going back to the cocaine water. But then that was happening because those rats were in a controlled environment. They couldn't go anywhere else. Like when you leave the rats, like leave them free range, they find other activities to engage themselves in. So I think addiction is a very slippery slope. Like you can't even really say that you are a former addict. I used to be addicted to this, now I'm no longer addicted to it. It's like a slippery slope, because if you're, let's say for example, let's use phone screens, which is something that most people are addicted to now without even knowing. Let's say for example you're like, I used to be addicted to my phone screen, but I'm no longer addicted to it. I used to be addicted to crack, but I'm no longer addicted to it. Can you really say that? That's why people say I'm 10 years sober, I'm 5 years sober, 2 weeks sober, 3 days sober. Because that means it's been 3 days since I last did this thing. Not necessarily that I'm free from it, because it's a slippery, once you do it again, it resets your mind back to the last time you did it. So that 10 years is nothing. That 10 years is back to zero, because you've done it now. Even if you were addicted for 20 years, and then, no, even if you were sober for 20 years, and now you've not done that thing again for like 20 years, it's like, and then you do it today, bro, that 20 years don't wipe off. Because you take it back to the last time you did it, speaking from experience.
Okay.
So, it's really tricky, because when you get addicted to something, it's because that thing you're addicted to has hijacked the pleasure centers of your brain. So your brain now associates happiness, pleasure, happiness, and everything that makes you feel good with that particular substance. So even when you're not on that substance, if you're happy, let's say you got a job today and you're happy, and now I'm happy, oh, your brain, oh, you remember you're happy, so you'll be happier with this thing, because your pleasure centers have been hijacked by another substance. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I'm just speaking from what happened. Oh my God. I'm speaking from what happened to my own experience. I had to come to a point where I like questioned, why do I keep going back to this thing? Bro, it's sad, you know, but it's like, this is something that could kill you. I was doing something that could kill me, and at some point, I had my girlfriend in the house with me. Like, then I was... I'm talking about you. We were dating. We were dating, you were on the bed. That time we were married, you were on the bed. And I was in the other room, smoking this thing, you know? And I had been smoking it all day, like from morning. I had been smoking it till it was like 9 p.m. And then I'm like, yo, fine babe, they on top of my bed for room. I did hear they smoke this, and this is what I was thinking about in my head. Like, why would I leave this girl and be doing this thing? Like I was so high to the point that my hands were shaking. I couldn't even really move. I couldn't get up and move. I was like, when I came back to the room to stage you, I had to crawl to the room. That's how bad it was. And that was one of the points where I came to my senses. I was like, bro, like I was weeping. I'm like, bro, how did you get to this point? Like, you see, I would have moments when I would look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, Bobby, now you be this. Like, remember who you are. Remember who you are. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I was like shriveled and skinny. Like, now you be this. I look at my ribs. But I still carry the thing while they smoke for hand. But I know if it's still trouble. That's how powerful addiction is. And then you feel like you've taken care of that one. Okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm not smoking this thing again. But you've not taken care of the addictive personality. You've not taken care of the actual addiction itself. So that addiction moves to something else, the energy. I remember someone when I was in university, one guy in there, pastor in there back then in my university campus church, was talking about, you know, if you're doing one thing consistently and you stop doing that thing, something that you're used to doing consistently, you stop doing it. So what happens to the energy and the time and everything that you were using to do that thing? They become like free electrons looking for something else to attach. And they are like on the outermost orbit looking for things to attach to. And whew, once another vice comes, you latch onto it. In my case, it was porn. I remember being addicted to porn. Dude. And it's not even necessarily like you watch porn so much that it's like it takes a specific type of porn to even get the rise out of me. I got to that point where it's like I'll be scrolling on the porn site and I'm like, no, nothing is happening. I keep scrolling and nothing is happening. Why? I'm looking for a specific thing. Bro, do you feel me? I know a lot of people can relate to this. I'm just saying this because I know that this is going to be out there for who knows how long, and somebody could come across it.
Yeah.
I'm not posting it. Well, I don't know if I'll post it, but like I said, talking about stuff like this is kind of like I'm purging my system of it. You feel me? But these things are important because people need to talk about these things. Someone needs to talk about stuff like this. And most times, it's like people don't talk about it because people are embarrassed to admit something that could potentially paint them in a not so great or not so pleasurable or what's the word? Honorable light. So people don't want to talk about stuff. But bro, I'm sure that a lot of people deal with stuff like this.
So much information.
Huh?
So much information.
Yeah, but you know,
I think
this is just me.
you want to talk about it. I don't think it's like this. You should talk about it.
Like, how do you think I should talk about it?
On a general term.
Without using myself as a case review,
Yes.
case study.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know, I try to avoid things that like anytime I start talking on this thing, this whole once I put this thing in my ear and I start talking, I have this layer of myself that is like always checking me like, who are you preaching to? Who are you preaching to? Yeah, you know this is something that is personal to you. Why don't you just out with it, man? You feel me? I'm not, as far as I'm not necessarily incriminating myself or indicting myself, like right now I don't really give a shit about so much. I know the people that care about me and I know the people that I care about, and that's just like it's a handful of people.
I wanted to ask you one question. Like I have a friend, someone that said this was when we were doing NYC, and you know, we'll go out and hang out, and he will not take alcohol, he will not take anything like that, or smoke anything. He will just take, like even if you even this thing, you might just take one bottle of Fanta and then have water.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, because I know that he's not like a very spiritual person or self-righteous or anything like that. So I then asked him, what, how far? Why? And he said something that kind of made sense then. It was like, his dad is a known drunk.
Okay.
And his mom too.
Okay.
That his mom is more worse than his dad.
Okay.
So that he knows this thing runs in his family. And he knows that if he starts it, and it's like the first, that if he starts it, then it will be difficult for him to stop. So, and he has younger ones that he wouldn't want them to follow that footstep. So he intentionally doesn't want to take alcohol. He has never taken alcohol in his life. And even on the other, he tries to be very careful about some things he puts in his body, in his system. So like if he knows that this thing is going to be like this, it's just better not to even start it.
Yeah.
So that's just how he has been living his life.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm also wondering, like from your own perspective, that it's not like you were not informed as you were growing up. Because even me too, I have some friends that do something, but just for myself, and they might offer, oh, take this to do it, this is the limit. I don't want to do. There's a limit to some things that I can do and some things that I cannot do. So let's say, okay, let me say like alcohol is like a general thing that people indulge somehow. Smoking weed or cigarettes, it's kind of like a general thing that most people indulge.
Yeah.
So some of these things, like how you started taking, didn't you know it was harmful? And some other things you were taking, didn't you know it was harmful?
Yeah, that's a good one. But it's like you mentioned that your friend had seen firsthand what this thing can do. And also having the awareness and the knowledge that this thing can be passed down to the next generation from you. So it's not like I didn't know. It's not like I didn't know this thing was potentially harmful. But you know, having the kind of mind, like you have to know yourself first of all. The kind of person I am. I'm someone who is like willing to try something. I'm like kind of this adventurous guy. Like I'm always willing to try something new. Especially when I see someone else I know and care about and respect doing it. I'm like, if this guy is doing this thing and this guy says it's awesome, and me, I know that I'm actually curious, I want to find out how this thing feels. I might just be like, yeah, I just want to try this thing. I just want to try this thing. But some people like you, that's a gift. It could be a gift and a curse. Having my kind of mind is a gift and a curse. Having your kind of mind is also a gift and a curse. And in that you are like, oh no, I'm not even going to try. Myself, I'm like, yeah, I want to try and see. And like sometimes when you get the hold of something and you like it, and the way that some of these drugs are crafted, you have to understand these drugs were crafted by people who are way smarter than us. They know how to get you. They know, like I've heard about heroin. I've never tried heroin, but I've heard so much that if you take it, you're going to like it.
So that means you're planning to take it in future?
At some point. Not really. I was busy being addicted to crack already.
Say, in future?
No. No, right now, the thing is, I have kids now, you get? So, having kids is like utmost priority in my mind. And I've gotten to that point now where my family is my priority, number one. So anything that wants to, like, I know that this thing is going to take the place of my family. I don't want that thing. Addiction can make you prioritize that substance over your own life. You need to have something else you care about more than that addiction. If not, and they just, let me just say grace, man. I can't just be saying it's all me and me, But how do you leave something that you like and you're addicted to it? It's like you actually like the feeling, but now you're addicted to it to the point that you don't even like porn. For instance, having an orgasm is one of the most beautiful feelings on earth. So what now happens to you when you see that you can't even get aroused anymore? It's almost like you can't get aroused because your system has become so dull, because you've done this thing so much. You have seen this fake version of sex so much that the thought of normal sex doesn't even really arouse you anymore. And then it's like when you see a girl, your mind is already so twisted that when you see a girl, normally so you can just see a girl in the street and your mind paints a picture about the girl. That's what addiction to porn can do. I'm speaking from experience. So you have to hijack that addiction and rewire your brain again. And it takes time because you have to be off of it. If it's a substance like crack, you have to be off of it for a very long time before your brain rewires back to normal. Because when you're addicted to crack, it gets to a point where you just need crack to feel normal. You don't even want to feel that ecstatic feeling or that happiness, because it's not going to give it to you anymore. What gives it to you is that first hit. That first hit after a long time, like the first hit that you ever took. You know, the first hit you ever took was so magical that you start. No, that's fine, just ignore it. So the first hit that you ever took was so magical that you now start chasing that particular feeling over again, all over again. You can't find it, you can't get it back. Now it takes a higher dose of that same drug for you to feel that level of ecstasy. So you keep upping the dose and upping the dosage and upping the dosage and upping the dosage, and your lungs, your heart is suffering, and all of that is suffering. And at the end of the day, your mind, which is your most powerful tool, is fried just because you are addicted to something. So like that your friend was smart enough to be like, okay, I've seen what this thing can do firsthand. Because I'm looking at my father, I've seen what he's doing to my father and my mother. But I don't want this for myself. That's the blessing that he had. You know? So, me having a father like mine, who was like this straight-laced guy, you know? My father, never saw my father drink or smoke or do anything for one day. So, I think that kind of made me want to try some of those things. You know? Because I'm used to this guy who's like so straight-laced, and like in my head I'm like, it's not that my father didn't indulge in anything when he was young. He actually did, which I found out later. But I never saw him. By the time he was having children and all of that, my dad was just that guy. Like, I don't think there's anybody I can think of as a man who was more perfect than my dad. So that made me tend to indulge in a lot of things, man. Like, I was so wild at some point in my life, especially my university days. I was so wild. So I know that I still have that kind of mind. So it makes me more worried now, like, because I know what kind of mind I have. I'm like, okay, I just channel that addictive personality into things that are productive, like thinking about yourself, thinking, introspection. This is what I do a lot, and drawing, and so on, playing my guitar. Yeah, because it's the same addictive personality that I tend to get the hold of something and do it repeatedly. I can be doing something repeatedly. So that's my own way of keeping my mind away from stuff like that, because it's like at some point you start making money and okay, you can get this drug anytime you want. So what's going to stop you?
Like you said that day that we're talking about, you mentioned something in the message about having a strong center in your value.
Yeah.
Like how people say, oh, God helps them with addiction and stuff. You know, I think having something like that is important. You know, because let me use myself for example. You know, I'm my siblings, so there's some things that my siblings do that are extremely boys that maybe I don't expect it from them, because somehow we've seen some of these things growing up, and sometimes when we used to talk about it, it's just like we used to judge, we didn't like those things. You understand? And those were things that we were like, oh, if we grow up, we'll try not to make this mistake again. And somehow, some of them have started doing some of those things. But I know that, having a strong center, of for yourself, your values or your family, like you said, it plays an important role. For you to have control over some of these things.
It does. It does.
I don't want to do this thing because of something,
but that thing,
I'm coming from a certain
that thing,
yeah.
That thing has to, you really have to actually care about that thing more than that addiction for it to stop you from being addicted to that.
But what I'm trying to say, where I'm coming from is the point of even starting it in the first place.
Like, why would you even start it?
Not why would you even start it, or try not to even start it in the first place, so that you don't even have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I feel like as human beings, we're all dealing with a lot of things every day. That sometimes it's like, why do I want to add this one to the problem I already have? So some of those things can help you have control over your mind. But people who have really gone through some level of error from this kind of things, like it has actually made them go crazy. Is they had to go through series and levels of purging for them to even come out of it.
And even then, you're not really out of it. Because it's still there. It's a wiring in your brain that is still there, waiting for you to just indulge again.
Go down the rabbit hole.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's crazy. So it's like it's not a good thing. Addiction in any form, it's not a good thing. Like if you're if you're addicted to something, it's like an unhealthy level of obsession. Like you don't even have any control. It's almost like you don't have any control over it. I'm telling you, scary.
When I found out that that's how your mind works, it kind of gave me some problems.
Right?
Yes.
What we?
Because it's like, it kind of put my head in what is the next thing that he's going to say he's doing now? Or one thing that he's going to do now, and it will just be a problem.
I didn't even factor that in.
And also, as you start having kids, those things worry me at some point, especially having a male child. Because somehow girls tend to, I don't know that it's a girl thing, or let me not say girls, let me say that, for guys, it's easier for them they are more exposed to these things more than a girl. Let me use for example, if the child is in Nigeria now, society already condemns a girl doing some certain things. So even if the girl is doing it, she'll probably not do it out there like the way a guy will probably do it. So some of those things that give me concern, because how I also grew up seeing some things and all that. So and some of those things I didn't even really realize how bad it was when we were even dating and all that. So it's when we got married it was more real.
Because now it's like your daily life is intertwined with this person's daily life. And bro, I'm telling you, man. If you've ever been addicted to something before, you can relate to what I'm saying. Like that, sometimes your rational mind is telling you, bro, you know what is happening here now. You want to go and smoke this thing again. Why don't you? I know it's not good.